With MLB's postseason still rolling, we still don't have any firm news on the new Twins coaching staff, including the manager. That's okay because it just gives us more time to dream. Just as soon as you get locked on Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I think I made it really blurry when I did that, so I apologize to people watching at home. Oh, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to source for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, it's my favorite show of the Imperial Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every day. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe where applicable. I'm Dave Brown, an MLB writer who still hasn't firmly committed to any of his jobs either, so I'm in the same boat as the Twins. I'm also a BBWA member and a voter for baseball's Hall of Fame. That's coming up soon. Across the great plains of cyberspace is Brandon Warne, who's locked into Locked On Twins forever and ever. Brandon was a Twins fan who became a Twins writer, and now he's both. You can find Brandon's written work at the Access Twins newsletter, and you can find mine at Pitcher List and elsewhere. On the show today for Friday, October 10th, 2025, Brandon has shown you his, and now I will show you mine, my pretend Minnesota Twins coaching staff for 2026. It's mostly complete, so I think I'm ahead of the actual team. We still don't know what the real Twins coaching staff will be with the postseason still going on. That's okay because there's a bunch of other teams who can say the same thing. I know the Orioles wanted to do it ASAP. Mike Elias wanted to hire a new manager ASAP. Well, ASAP went out the window, buddy. So it's not a race, though. Well, maybe it is, but it hasn't started yet. Well, maybe it has, but it's still early in the race, so no worries, people. And with the postseason still rolling, there are several Twins contending for championship rings. Even if a few of them were recently eliminated. We'll catch up with the ex-Twins and see how they're doing. Also, when the Twins split Target Field, get it? Split August 7th through the 9th for Milwaukee. The Savannah Bananas will move in. Where will your focus be as a Twins fan when this happens? Also, we can predict which Twins will be invited guests to play ball with the Bananas. It's going to be tough because half the alumni are in the TV radio booth already. But first, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That sounds like a good deal. So bet your $5 today and download the app. Once again, that's FanDuel. What time is it? Oh, it's FanDuel. It's FanDuel time. So, Brandon, you've recently talked about who you would get as a coaching staff to follow your ideal manager, James Rowson. James Rowson now perfectly available to talk to the Twins about being a manager because his season is over.
I might add, Jim Souhan's column from the Star Tribune today, his number one choice, James Rowson. So
that's what I would love to be thinking the same way as Jim Souhan. Let me tell you,
we are thought leaders here at Locked On Twins, is what I'm trying to say.
So did he say that he wants Rowson to be that he will be? Is it his preference, or does he think it'll happen?
Laid out the case for why he would be the right fit. I think it was, yes, this is who he thinks should have it, and these are the reasons why. And not to, steal any of his thunder, but a lot of it was in lockstep with basically everything I said in yesterday's episode, where it's familiarity. It's a guy who's, the Twins' biggest issue last year was hitting in big spots. And now, I'm not in love with the idea of calling things situational hitting, but they didn't hit in situations. Bases loaded, one of the worst teams we've ever seen in bases loaded situations in an entire season in recent memory. And, runners on, it was either pop up to short, fly ball to left, or ground ball double play. And that's just one game from Carlos Correa. And it feels as though they're going to look at we're looking at different types of managers. You're thinking about the young manager that grows with the team, an older manager that's kind of been around. I think I want one who can prioritize hitting and the development of hitting. And I can think of no better example than Rowson especially based on what he did here in 2019. Now, again, the rabbit ball plays into that as a factor, but that was a good offensive team, home runs or otherwise. And I want to see something like that. And then the rest of the staff that I built out was surrounding that theory. So if you haven't heard it yet, I'll maybe go around down the list later on. But yes, James Rowson is who I think should be the next manager. I'm certainly hoping he at least gets an interview.
I would imagine that he would for a number of different reasons, just because, like you mentioned, he's been through, he knows what it's like to be a coach with the Twins. He's a candidate on, one of the better teams in the league. The Yankees certainly, for all, there's no doubt that Aaron Judge was the best offensive player in baseball and actually has been probably for a while, or at least the American League. And but the Yankees had a good lineup. In addition to him, it's people like to say, "Well, where would the Yankees be without Judge?" And that's fair, but I think they still had, he squeezed every possible whatever out of Anthony Volpe at shortstop. Volpe, and not that Volpe was
Trent Grisham,
an offensive, but Trent Grisham is the man.
Yep.
You go and you say, "Well, there's a guy he was this place and he was that place, and he was all potential." And then he gets to the Yankees, and he turns into what everybody thought maybe Trent Grisham could be all along, at least offensively speaking. So I think Rowson would be an excellent hire. I think there's no chance. I don't think there's any chance that the Twins don't interview him.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I think
maybe
they have to interview him.
I mean, unless the Yankees fire Boone and just hire him, and I don't think that's not going to happen. If the Yankees do fire Boone, it's going to be a wide sweeping look outside the organization, look everywhere, leave no stone unturned, not a succession situation where, it goes down the line. And if so, I don't know that Rowson would be second on that list. It's hard to say, but yes, I think you're absolutely right. There's really no reason for him not to interview with the Twins, and hopefully in short order.
Yeah, right. These things tend to wait until the postseason is over, but I'm sure behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure behind the scenes, there are at least back channel discussions, and now there can be front channel discussions because the Twin season is over, the Yankee season is over. Rowson, I'm sure, doesn't want, maybe he does want to be a hitting coach for the rest of his life, but I'm sure he probably would like to get a shot to manage. There's only 30 of these jobs. And people talk about how, why would you want to work for the Twins? And then they say, well, aren't the reasons obvious? And I guess they are. Looking at upper management, the ownership, and the fact that some other things haven't been going great for the organization in recent years. They've lost some money in the TV deals. And they might not be able to spend a lot in payroll, let me amend that. They might not be willing to spend a lot in payroll this coming year, not just because of whatever financial books the poll ads are trying to get in order, but because of the, I suppose, impending work stoppage. I think, I didn't get a chance. The Royals had their end of the season, whatever media session with their manager and their GM or their president of baseball operations, whatever JJ Piccolo's title is. And I did want to ask, but I didn't get a chance to, what the impending lockout, how that's going to affect the transactions this winter, as far as, not only free agent signings, but trades and people looking ahead to what the landscape is going to be like potentially. Our players, are there certain favored players who are going to get, because there always are, a handful of players who get like lockout protection in their pay, and will there be some kind of the Twins certainly aren't going to be signing anybody with any clauses like that in their contract, but there are only 30 of these jobs. There's going to be lots of people interested. I guess when we come back from our first break, I'll talk a little bit about what my coaching staff would be based on the ideas that we've had before, and when we come back, we'll do that.
Well, but first we got to give some love to FanDuel. The NFL season is here. It's in full swing. We are in week 6, if I'm not mistaken, and it's got
Sounds good to me. Yes.
Yeah, there's an offer at FanDuel that you do not want to miss because right now new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if it hits. I tell you what, though, wasn't such an easy bet in Thursday night's game as the Giants tripped up the Eagles. So you got to be sure about this bet that you put down. That's right, though. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. As I noted before, I've seen put down 5, get 100, 150, 200, 250, but never 300. This is the best I think I've ever seen. And you're already watching football anyway. Why not get a little extra action on it, have a little more fun? And whether you're a casual fan or you're a stat freak, there are different types of contests for you to get in. You got the same game parlays and the live bets and all that fun stuff. You got to check out the app. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
We're looking at Twins' potential coaching staff and managerial candidate for 2026, and everyone's still in a holding pattern because of the playoffs. Originally on my list, my first choice of people that I thought they could get. So, like, I didn't have Skip Schumacher on the list because I thought, well, he's going to replace Bochy probably. That was the plan all along.
Well, and then I think he was hired the next day or something like that. I mean, it would have been.
Yes. They did not wait very long.
It would have been ruining your material. Yeah. That
interview's been going on for like 2 years. So they knew when they hired him, their minds didn't change. L'Chaim. So I picked Derek Shelton. He sort of like Rowson had been through the Twins system before. A friend of Rocco, but maybe someone with a little bit of a different personality. So some familiarity, yet with a new approach. However, when you said Ricky Weeks, you had Ricky Weeks on your list. He's a Brewers coach. Yeah. I really like that idea. I like the kind of stuff that the Brewers do as far as base running and emphasis on a total offensive game.
Very briefly on Shelton, I would say he's like if Fred Flintstone managed a baseball team, and not in a bad way. Like his personality is that of Fred Flintstone, a very likable guy. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there.
What are you doing, Fred?
Yeah, in case people wanted to know if they would enjoy him. He's a great dude. Anyway,
hey Fred, could I be a bench coach?
Who's his Barney?
Yes, it was Barney. Yes, it was Barney.
No, I said who's his Barney? Who's his Barney? I'm saying like you'd have to have one.
Yeah, right. So I was thinking Derek Shelton, but I'm thinking of stealing your idea, Ricky Weeks, because I like how the Brewers play the game. And I think the Twins like how the Brewers play the game.
Yes.
And I think, ironically, Rocco liked how the Brewers played the game. So it would be funny kind of to have Ricky Weeks. Now, he hasn't managed before. I don't know if that's good or bad. No one's going to know until he manages. That's the thing. But everybody, I suppose, gets their chance the first time, and then you go from there. So Derek Shelton, Ricky Weeks. I like Ricky Weeks because I'd really like to poach Julio Bourbon from the Brewers coaching staff. He's their first base coach. And if you remember him with the Rangers, he was a fast young man and a good base runner. And I think he would have an idea of how to make the Twins maximize whatever talent they have in the lineup to run the bases better and get a run here or there and not make mistakes. I think that's been if I've noticed anything about the Twins, you talk about situational hitting the last couple years, paying attention. It's that they could do a lot better on the bases, both good and bad. And I think we kind of saw that a little bit in the second half. They were aggressive, kind of fearless. It didn't really help them win games, but there were, half the bullpen had been traded. So I don't really look in that sense.
I had Torrey Hunter as my first base coach for that exact reason, because when he played for the Twins, he could steal a base where he'd be halfway to first before the pitch, or halfway to second before the pitcher even realized it and was delivering home. So same kind of deal, first base, outfield coach. But yeah, I think finding someone who's a base running savant, in addition to bringing in Paul Molitor for some instructional stuff during spring training and all that, there's lots of value in those types of guys for sure. And that's what the Twins need.
I like that idea of Torrey Hunter. I don't know Can you get Torrey Hunter to come in as a first base coach and a base running instructor?
I mean,
He seems like a kind of guy that he sort of wants to be the manager. That's my impression.
And to me, that's just not a fit for me then. And if that's the case, that's fine.
But can you get him for this role? Because I think rather than poaching poor Julio Bourbon, when you have him at home, why not hire Torrey Hunter to do that?
If you can't, then my assistant bench coach, Denny Hawking, becomes my first base coach, my infield coach, and my base running coach. I like guys who got the most out of their talent, grinder types who, they study, they know the game. And Denny's been working in player development with Team USA. And so I think if you're looking for someone to develop players, there's very few who would be better at that. In that case, I think I'd move him to first base coach, keep Hank Conger where he's at, and then have Derek Shelton be my bench coach, because I do think I want possibly someone with managerial experience as my bench coach, sort of like Rocco had with Jace Tingler. But especially if my manager is going to have no experience managing, then maybe I go in that direction. So you're making me think a little bit here.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah. No, true.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned a couple people in a couple of scenarios. I would consider hiring Hawking as the hitting coach.
Sure.
Based on some of the, improvements that he had. I suppose Ty France petering out toward the end, that was kind of the big thing of late winter, early spring, was how Hawking had worked with Ty France. And now at the end, he started to hit better with the, you just got to be patient for the whole season with some of these guys. He was doing better at the plate with the Blue Jays, not on the playoff roster at this point in the season, but we'll see.
I think he's hurt. I think he
is he
strained something. Yeah. I don't know that he would have been on there anyway. You're not going to
take Vladimir out of the lineup.
Well, yeah, most likely. Yeah. And I think Springer's been DHing. I think, maybe for a situational spot if you need to hit for Jimenez or something. But
well, anyway, as it relates to Denny Hawking, that's a guy hitting coach. I couldn't really fill that much, especially if Shelton is the manager. Shelton's going to have his own idea about who to bring in a hitting coach. I don't worry that he won't bring in someone who's qualified or familiar or whatever.
I kept Borg Schulte because I think you need structure. I think you need continuity too. Rowson is already going to be hitting focused. I believe they work together in the organization. If he decides he needs his own guy, by all means, whether it's Marcus Tams or whoever. But I went with continuity on the hitting side in addition to hiring an overarching hitting type manager. Now, that was just
that's what you did. We're doing my list.
Yes, I'm just explaining.
And so, like you mentioned someone with experience as the bench coach, who's had managerial experience, and I can think of nobody more qualified than Tom Kelly to be the bench coach of the Minnesota Twins for whoever the next manager is. I think that would be hysterical.
Yes,
he could do the job. I mean, what more does Tom Kelly need to do? Well, I would say if there was one thing that Tom Kelly could do, it's try to, other than provide an example from 30 years ago of how to do it, get in the game right now, work some magic in the coaching staff, fire off some batting practice pitches with the cigar and the Zubaz pants. I think it would be funny, but I think it would be effective. I know he's 75.
Mm-hmm.
Is he that old? Yes.
74, 75. Yeah, not in the best of health.
Well, let's nurse him back to health and get him in that. Oh, okay. If Tom Kelly's not going to do it.
Well, they had that older guy as their catching coach like 4, 5, 6 years ago. I can see his face, but
Carlton Fisk.
No, but it was a guy from I think he was the original coaching staff of the Rays. And he was one of Rocco's coaches, I think, in the minors. I'm going to look it up because it's going to bother me.
I think we could, if we're not going to have my dream of Tom Kelly as the bench coach, assistant manager, or as I have here, ass manager, just Hank Conger, make him the bench coach. Rocco, I mean, I guess not that people necessarily want to hear from him, but he had nothing but amazing things to say about Hank Conger and how he fits into the fabric of a coaching staff as far as instructing, teaching, having a sense of humor about the season, the long 6 months that they're together. I think completely changing out the coaching staff, probably not a good idea. Probably not going to happen. I would imagine that Pete Mackey's going to be back as pitching coach. That's who I have doing that. And then we can bring back if Jeremy Hefner can't find. I can't imagine that Jeremy Hefner is not going to find somewhere else to be pitching coach. But if we made him assistant pitching coach, if none of the other places work out, bring him back into that role with the Twins. Probably not going to happen. But Pete Mackey's got a good pitching department anyway. So whatever he sees fit, I would say if we're keeping him. The base coaches, of course, I already mentioned Julio Borbon from the Brewers. The problem with getting Julio Borbon is, would he want to leave the Brewers in a lateral move? I doubt it. Can you give him a title? Make him is he even worthy of being an assistant manager or something? Associate manager? I don't know. But if Torrey Hunter would just take the job, we wouldn't have to worry about bringing a Julio Borbon in. Third base defensive coordinator Chris Woodward. He's got a similar type job with the Dodgers, but that stuff gets stale at some point, and maybe it would be another step back up toward being a manager someday. Chris Woodward's the guy that put the finishing touches on making Mookie Betts a shortstop. That's one of the reasons I was interested in bringing him in as a manager. But sorry, Derek Shelton or Ricky Weeks got the jobs, Chris. So third base defense, that's you, Billy.
Bill Evers was who I was thinking of too.
Was he Tickers to Evers to chance?
Well, he was relative to the rest of the coaching staff. Yeah, he kind of seemed like it. I like what you're doing so far. I went crazy on my pitching staff. Went with keeping Mackey, but adding Ethan Katz and Jeremy Hefner. So I don't think that's going to happen. But
too many cooks. But
college of pitching coaches, like you did college of coaches for your manager.
It would be like that. Hey, let's take our final break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the Twins still alive in the postseason. They are still alive, just individually, and also the Bananas.
I'll tell you something that's bananas. It's Rougiette.
Hey.
What do you have, Dave, when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? You have confidence, pure confidence. And if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. That's where Rougiette Go Long comes in. It's not just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for your confidence. You've probably heard of Viagra. You've probably heard of Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond that usual pill, then it's Rougiette that you are looking for. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, so you can get hard and go the distance. Not 5 innings and then relievers taking over for you. You're going all 9 innings, and the effects can last up to 36 hours. So if there's extra innings, you do not have to start with a runner on second. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. If you're ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom, head to RUGIET.com and use code LOCKEDONMLB, and you'll get 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette, RUGIET.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use your code so you know that Dave Brown sent you.
Oh, how nice.
I had to get through that without laughing, man. It was tough. Yesterday by myself, really tough.
Yeah, I was long day driving the bus, so it's just one of those things.
It
is. So the Twins are still alive in the postseason. By the way, this is Locked On Twins for Friday, October 10th, our final segment. The Twins are still alive in the postseason, did you know, Brandon? But on an individual basis. I saw this tweet from our friend Greg Masterson the other day. A lineup of former Twins still in the postseason. Now, a couple of these in the past couple of days have been eliminated, but Ben Rortvedt, Dodgers catcher. He is with the Dodgers, right? It's usually some really good team, and or he's in the minors somewhere. It's bizarre, Ben Rortvedt.
Yeah, the Rays or the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Yankees he was for a while.
Yes, exactly. And the Twins. Yeah. Carlos Santana, the Mariners, he hasn't been active for a while, but is that where he finished? I don't remember anymore.
That's a good question. I mean,
he finished somewhere. Jorge Polanco still going strong for Seattle. That trade's not looking so hot. Isaiah Falefa's been kind of erased. He was with the Yankees.
Oh, Carlos Santana is an American guitarist. Okay, that's not the right one.
Oh, that's not the right one.
No, Cubs.
Willie Cast. Oh, that's right, the Cubs. So he is still going. He is still.
I don't know if he's I don't know if he's on the roster.
He's not. But he's around. He's on the taxi squad or hanging out just in case.
Oh, that's right. He had that picture. There was a picture of who's the big beefcake that they called up. Was it Ballesteros that was dressed all?
Yeah.
And then behind him, there's Carlos Santana walking into the. And I'm like, man, Carlos Santana showing up late again. You know how it goes.
Did he have a Pepsi with him? Did he have a Pepsi?
I don't think he did. More of a Coke.
Willie Castro. I mean, he's around, but is he on the Cubs? Maybe. Is he playing a big role? Not really. Harrison Bader was doing good things for the Phillies.
Man.
Had his groin or hamstring. There's like a dispute over which one. I didn't realize I guess they're next to each other if you go that way. He's been eliminated. Max Kepler made a really nice catch for Philly the other day. He's been eliminated. Joan Duran. This tweet from Greg does not have Joan Duran in it. It's got Louis Varland as the starting pitcher and Jose Barrios as the relief pitcher.
Wow.
But Joan Duran now eliminated, but when the tweet came out, he missed him. Greg, you better work on your game.
I guess he's revealing some of his internal bias against relief pitchers.
The DH is Mitch Garver. He's Cal Raleigh's backup in Seattle, so he's still going. Louis Varland, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. It wasn't looking so good the other day against the Yankees, but then he came through with an opening, a start, and was fine and helped the Blue Jays beat them in the deciding game. So Lou Varland, corporate Lou, still going for the Blue Jays and has a chance to go to the World Series.
Is it possible he and Griffin Jacks are the same pitcher? Like
it's interesting.
Former starters.
Yeah. I mean, they went through the same process. I think that another thing that speaks well, I would put that on my resume if I were Pete Mackey, if he needed one someday. It was like, hey, check these guys out. They were starters. It didn't go great. Turned them into relief pitchers, and they were top shelf at times.
I think Pearson Ole might be the next guy that he does that to.
Oh, well, we're going to keep an eye on that, Mr. Brandon Warne. Jose Barrios, again, another one of these guys who's not really playing, but he's around if the Blue Jays need him. And then Greg's note on this tweet is, not going to lie, this team would be ASS. So,
yeah. Well, of course, if you keep out the best pitcher, it's going to be awful.
Duran had a weird game. He for the first time yesterday against the Dodgers, he had a walk with the bases loaded for the first time, maybe in his career, but certainly all season.
Career, yeah.
That was nuts. And then he was like dealing after that. It's just that the Phillies could not. The Dodgers also have good pitching, and the Phillies could not get any runs on the board. Otherwise, they would still be playing.
So, what is the most net neutral World Series when it comes to former Twins and not losing trades? Like, if the Blue Jays make it, you've got Varland, you've got Barrios. If the Mariners make it, then you've got Garver, you've got Polanco. Did he mention Polanco?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mentioned. Remember, I mentioned how bad the Polanco trade was looking right now.
Oh, yeah. So on the NL side, I mean, you're looking at the Dodgers have more guys hurt that were former Twins than actual former Twins healthy. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, how do we spin this as, wow, the trade deadline was good, actually, which I'm kidding. But trading relievers like that, it did show the volatility of such a thing. Like Joan Duran pitched, I think our friend Grant said once in the postseason with a lead. Once, maybe? Right. I don't know.
Well, the Phillies had trouble putting people on base, much less scoring runs. Yep. So it was, I mean, that can't be helped.
But that shows the you could go get all the relievers in the world you want.
Yes. That point is a good point.
The Twins' first half, they had that bullpen, and, oh, cool. Brock Sturt's coming in, and you're down 4-2 in the 8th inning. Bully for you.
Right. No, it's it shows you that there's limited value in the relief pitchers, that they're only as good as you having the lead or
the situation you put them in. Yeah.
The situation that you put them in. So it's We're not going to see. It's going to go one of two ways with those trades. We're going to see, Alan Roden and people like that come back, and if they're good, it'll be like, yeah, where'd they come from? Oh yeah, it was those relief pitchers. Or
those trades that I hated at the time and didn't. Yeah.
I'm going to go back on that now and say the trade was okay, because I think the shelf life of a relief pitcher is very short. So it's also very inconsistent.
The talking point: 5 years of control for Louis Varland. 5 years ago, if you were to look at the top 10 pitchers and saves, like just a garden variety reliever stat, boy, it'd be pretty ugly. I know I did it one time and it was like Chris Perez and Derek Turnbow. Like, this was 10 years ago now, but I'm like, wow, 5 years for a reliever is an eternity. So yes, hopefully Louis Varland is that Dan Wheeler 10-year good reliever, but those guys don't really exist anymore.
Derek Turnbow was a guy who Twitter was turning into a folk hero one day, and like literally the next day, it's like pitchforks running him out of town. So
they had a run of weird closer-ish guys. Jim Henderson was there, and I'm trying to think of who else.
That sounds like a guy from the neighborhood. They just brought in off the street, from the suburbs. You're bringing out Jim Henderson in. I went to his cookout last summer.
Trevor McGill. Wait.
No, he's back.
Nice trade, Cloudy.
Before we go, before we get to what we want to mention as far as that, the Bananas are coming.
Yes, they are.
Next August 7th through the 9th, the Twins will be in Milwaukee. The Bananas will be at Target Field.
Ricky Weeks will be getting some revenge on his old Brewers friends.
Yes.
We'll be watching Banana.
Are we going to be watching a big Twins series at Milwaukee, or we're going to keep an eye on the Bananas and see how baseball should be done?
I'm going to say both. Hey, you should come up here for that Banana Ball game. We'll take the kids.
I should, yeah. If you can get the tickets, I'll pay you back by next Tuesday.
I'll get in the lottery, yeah. Gladly pay you Tuesday. The lottery starts now.
Is that a weekend? What is that? August 7th through the 9th? Do we know?
I don't know. It's the day after my anniversary, so I should know, but I don't.
2026 is...
It's hard to believe. We're talking about
a Google search.
2026 is a real year. Like,
I know.
It still feels like 2008.
That's a weekend. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So,
we'll see.
We'll have everybody out of the house and have some fun. I'll try to get on the lottery then.
So I would come to Minneapolis as a person who does a Twins podcast, but the Twins won't be there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we can figure out your passport stuff and what you're going to tell customs later, but
okay. All right.
Yes,
hey, we also Bananas, go Bananas. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen today. For your second listen, find the all new. Is it that new though? Or the all night? Is it all night or all new?
I think they're both wrong. I think it's formerly new.
Hey.
It's the postseason edition of Game Night. How about that?
The Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned. So sort of like the owners, we want the series to go longer because that's when they start to make the money. The owners in like games 6, 7, 8, 9. The series don't go that long, but you know what I mean. The longer a series goes, they did.
1903.
They did. Hey, if you listen to Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night until a World Series champion is crowned, you get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So for my friend Brandon Warne, this is Dave Brown wishing you all a very pleasant good evening, saying we will Alexei Casillas tomorrow night. The all night, all new, not really that new, but it's all. They give them their all. That's what you get. So that part's right.
Yeah.